We are now going to continue our third and final group of performing arts finalists. Next up, Elvis Avetis from Camelot Elementary School singing A Cover Is Not the Book from Mary Poppins Returns, accompanying himself on piano.
Uncle Gutenberg was a bookworm, and he lived on Charing Cross. The memory of his volumes brings a smile. He would read me lots of stories when he wasn't on the sauce. Now I'd like to share the wisdom of my favorite bibliophile. He said, cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. 'Cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs, and if you read between the lines, you'll find your first impression was mistook. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Here is an example. But what could not be seen was though her trunk up top was bare and well, her roots were lush and green. So in spring when Mr. Hickory saw her blossoms blooming there, it took root despite her bark, and now there's seedlings everywhere, which proves a cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. 'Cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs, and if you read between the lines, you'll find your first impression was mistook. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Should I do the one about the wealthy widow? Oh, by all means. Lady Hyacinth McCall brought all her treasures to a reef, where she only wore a smile, plus 2 feathers and a leaf. So no one tried to rob her, 'cause she barely wore a stitch. For when you're in your birthday suit, there ain't much there to show you're rich. Oh, a cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. 'Cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. You'll find your first impression was mistook. Ya-da-da-da. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. How about the one about the dirty rascal? That one's a bit long. Well, the quicker I'm into it, the quicker I'm out of it. Once upon a time, in a nursery rhyme, there was a castle with a king hiding in a wing, 'cause he never went to school to learn a single thing. He had scepters and swords and a parliament of lords, but on the inside he was sad. He gagged because he never had a wisdom for numbers, a wisdom for words. Though his crown was quite immense, his brain was smaller than a bird's. So the queen of the nation made a royal proclamation to the missus and the messers, the more messers, bring me all the lots of messers. Then she went to the hairdressers, and they came from the east, and they came from the south. From each college they poured knowledge from their brains into his mouth. But the king couldn't learn, so each professor met their fate, where the queen had their heads removed and placed upon the gate. And on the date, I think their wives all got a note their maid was now the late great. But then suddenly one day a stranger started in to sing, "Is it I'm the dirty rascal, and I'm here to teach the king." And the queen collected her jewels, for she hated royal fools. With his fool and some rules they really had to teach at schools. Like, you'll be a happy king if you enjoy the things you got. You should never try to be the kind of person that you're not. So they sang and they laughed, for the king had found a friend, and they ran onto a rainbow for the story's perfect end. So the moral is you mustn't let the outside be the guide, or it's not so cut and dried. Well, unless it's Dr. Jekyll, then you better hide. Petrified! No, the truth can't be denied, as I now have testified. All that really counts and matters is the special stuff inside. Oh, a cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. 'Cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. So please listen to what I've said and open a book tonight in bed. So one more time before we get the hook, sing it out strong. A cover is nice, please take our advice. A cover is nice, or you'll pay the price. A cover is nice, but a cover is not the book.
Yeah, and I heard from my coworker Ginger, who I know you were talking to, that you were in this the last couple years too, right? So you've been performing for a long time, right?
Yes.
How long have you been performing?
Well, honestly, I don't really remember how long I've been performing, but I think I started to practice like in my mom's belly because she said every time that she'd started practicing, I'd like to start kicking. And when I was a toddler, my dad would hold my hand and play the piano with me.
So your parents are musicians.
Yes?
And so what's that like being in a musical family?
Well, it's definitely very musical. Lots of like musical things every day. And yes, I like to play the piano. So every day we have like a good few hours of that. And yeah, it's pretty fun doing that every day.
What was your favorite part of this performance?
Well, the rap part was definitely one of my favorites because, you know, I like Hamilton a lot, and that's by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And this song was also performed by Lin-Manuel Miranda with Emily Blunt as the Mary Poppins, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was the Jack. So this song was basically a perfect fusion between Mary Poppins and Hamilton. So yeah, I think the rap was one of my favorite parts of the song.
Yeah, I liked it too. How old are you? Tell me again.
I'm 10.
You're 10. All right. Well, I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Ginger, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Julie.